Hello. Can you hear me?
Hello.
Yes, Peter. How are you, sir?
I'm right. Thank you, brother.
Good. Right.
Yeah.
I guess we should start because
Mchozi Rutembana is here.
he must be driving back home.
No. I'm here.
Oh,
Mm.
that's okay then.
Mm.
Sure. Let's start. Uh, Good evening. For those who are in Uganda and the rest of the world where it is evening. Good afternoon, good morning, depending on where you are. This is In Truth and in Spirit World of Worship Fellowship. It is a Thursday, the 27th of February, 2025, the year of our Lord. Every Thursday we have fellowship here where we discuss a number of issues. And we also hear every Monday of the week. So we are basically online 2 days a week. We start from 6 to 8, and we handle quite a number of subjects. We are a non-denominational fellowship. Everyone is welcome as long as you are willing to challenge your belief systems and your positions. It is a blessing that everyone should be part of, where your worldview can be challenged and observed. So we basically run an open pulpit where you are even allowed, whether you're a pagan or an agnostic or atheist or theist or religious, whoever you are, as long as you are willing to defend your position. iTiS is a place for everyone like that. So today is Thursday, and we want to look at a topic, family cold wars, or how to manage family wars, but especially those in the category of cold wars. What we mean by this is there are sometimes when family members have tensions between them, but those tensions are not directly open. A few people might even know that there is a war between one family member and the other because of the absence of the battle. No one is throwing tantrums at each other, but practically there are tensions, and they are actually even fighting. They could be fighting behind the doors, and they could also be fighting through proxies. These things happen in our families, where I am not attacking my brother, directly, but I am using Sabbath-day, my other brother, or I'm using a particular auntie to make sure I reach a person with some kind of harm. So there are such tensions in families, and there are three groups or three categories of that constitute families. There is that category of spouses. There is that category of siblings. There is that category of parents, and there is also that category of relatives. Now, by relatives, we mean those who are outside that unit element of the family. It could be your uncle, it could be your auntie, it could be something like that. So it has always manifested in our families that we are fighting in one way or the other. And because it is family, we don't want others to know that we are actually fighting. So what we do normally is to pretend like everything is okay, and yet between some family members, everything actually is not okay in reality. So that is what we qualified in this topic as Cold Wars. You remember when there was a Cold War between the United States and the Soviet Union? And you remember the proxies that were used to fight that war? And you remember the espionage that was happening between the two countries, or the two regions actually, because the Soviet Union was almost a region. And for those of you who like history, like myself, you do remember the casualties of that Cold War, the investments in that Cold War, the emotions, the tensions, the infrastructure actually that was constructed, and that which was destroyed because of the Cold War between those two regions. So you will understand that that can be dragged down to our sociological relationships, like that of the family, where spouses are not talking because they are fighting, and the children in that house where there's a Cold War between the spouses, or mom and dad, the children in that family might not even know. It becomes even worse in these family Cold Wars, especially those between spouses, that children are used as proxies to fight these wars. Some are actually even communicated to. A spouse opens up to a certain child, and that child takes sides. And when that child takes sides, he or she also does not show the other parent, but starts in one way or another to fight or to gang against the other. And these wars are not actually fought directly, because if they were fought directly, they would cease to be wars, and they would cease to be Cold Wars. So they are fought indirectly. So you realize that before you know it, there's some spying within the house, information exchanges hands. You don't know who got to know what and why. You know that you shared this exclusive to a family member, but eventually you find that information with another family member, and then now you get to know that the enemy is within the state. The enemy is no longer outside the gate, but he's within the gate. but you are not sure you want to go direct to that. So before you know it, there is a Cold War within your family, and the war has actually taken shape, and fights have emerged. But these fights are different in a way that the public cannot tell what is happening, but you can feel that. The other Cold War aspect could happen between siblings. Just because you and I are brothers or sisters does not mean that we really like each other, and therefore we are going to relate, because there's a difference between being siblings and actually having a relationship. And actually having a relationship. It is not a guarantee that just because we share that DNA, we both were born and bred by the same parents. That does not necessarily mean that we are going to sustain a relationship between us, number one. Number two, it's not even a guarantee that I will like you or you will like me, given that we do not even share a number of personality aspects. We don't even share career. We don't have much in common because we are independent human beings. We only share that biology. But for me to like you or for you to like me, it is sometimes a choice. Then in the process, before you know it, just because you are born in the same family, there's some kind of indirect competition. You are competing each other, and you don't want actually to demonstrate that you're actually competing. So you use other means to make sure that you beat your brother or your sister, whom actually you've turned into. Well, because the children are innocent, they even sometimes ask, why can't we go to Uncle Jethro? They say, no, you will go, you'll go, don't worry, you will go. But yeah, they end up not actually going because there's some bad blood between you and your sibling. So there are those Cold Wars. There's that second category of a Cold War between siblings. That is one set, trying to give examples, and then later you come in with yours, and your experiences will be very much appreciated, actually. So the other set is the parents. The parents. Now, remember earlier on I talked about the first set as spouses, but now I'm talking about the parents, and the parents are different from the spouses, if you understand. The parents are different in a way that they could be, and there could be a Cold War between you and your parents. There could be something like that. That war could be caused by very simple disagreement, like your mother wanted you to marry so and so, or your father wanted you to marry so and so, and you defied their choice, and you went ahead with your own choice. So they somehow, somewhere, they are giving you this hypocritical smile, but you can tell that there's some kind of bad blood between you and your parents because of what you did. And then you remember the old war, the old Cold War, the old perpetual Cold War between the mother-in-law and daughter-in-law. You remember that? you do understand that. Where the mother has to come and your wife has to pretend like everything is okay, but you know there is always a fight. Your mother goes into the kitchen, your wife comes to the bedroom crying, and then she has to walk out of the bedroom smiling. So we all suffer these tensions. They are family tensions. And I don't know of any family that doesn't have these tensions. All we need now to talk about is how do we manage these tensions? What causes these tensions? Can we get rid of them? Uh, should we translate, or should Cold Wars in the pursuit of resolving these conflicts, should Cold Wars always transition into open battles so that we can now know who is who, what they want, what they don't want, what hurt them? And then, because if they are open battles, then we can have a way of dealing with them. Because therein we do not only have casualties of battles, but we even know who has hurt or who has made these casualties. And then we know what to work with. These Cold Wars between families or within families can turn into brutality of to the extent of poisoning each other, you know, making sure that we fail each other. And some people are even shocked. They didn't know that their brother or their sister, or actually their mother, didn't actually like them. They find out, they are shocked to understand that they didn't get the other job because of a sibling. They didn't get the other opportunity and the other contract because of a parent. They failed to succeed because of the wife at home or the husband. And you didn't know that all along that this person was actually fighting you, but they have always been fighting you. And then from that point, some actually are even are struck with that kind of stroke, and they can't believe it, and some do not even recover because of these Cold Wars. So so we thought that it is important that we discuss these issues. You guys can share your experiences. You can tell us how do families fight? Because when we are fighting with non-family members, those battles are largely open and publicized. But when we are fighting with family members, those battles are largely private and discreet, to the extent that sometimes even those who are being fought do not know that they are being fought. and in most cases, the two who are fighting do not actually engage, not even verbally, but they are fighting through proxies. They are using other siblings, are using other siblings to fight other siblings. Parents are using children. Mothers-in-law are using their sons or their daughters to fight the other son or daughter-in-law. So they are proxies. So it is these are wars. The reason why we call them family Cold Wars, it is because they are even difficult to identify. And I think this is what Jesus meant when he said that the enemy of a person shall be in their house. Your enemy could be your family member, someone sabotaging you. The espionage that you are struggling with could be coming from actually your family members. So we thought that we could come have a discussion on these matters, and then you guys share your experiences. Tell us what you've gone through, if you have, or tell us what you've seen other people go through in these family Cold Wars, etc., etc., etc. But for now, I will take you through I want to take you through the world history, but let me first angle it from the Bible. The family of Isaac and Rebekah had these cold wars in the book of Genesis. Rebekah disagreed with her husband on who should become the heir of the family. Isaac insisted that they were to follow the tradition, and besides even following the tradition that the firstborn is the heir of the family, he also, I don't want to say that he liked Esau more than Jacob, but he resonated with Esau more than he did with Jacob. And I also do not want to say that Rebekah liked Jacob more than Esau, but she also resonated more with Jacob more than Esau. And the reasons were obvious. Jacob was a stay-home boy. He was a domestic boy. Esau was a hunter, therefore an outgoing boy. So Isaac saw some kind of manhood in and masculinity. He saw more masculinity in Esau and less masculinity in a stay-home boy like Jacob. Isaac thought that Jacob was more so of a mother's boy, you know, and he wouldn't turn out actually to be a man. And I guess he's right if you read history of the Bible. And Rebekah looked at Esau as someone who is always outgoing. He had toxic masculinity. That is what Rebekah actually thought of her son Esau. So in the process, they disagreed. But when they disagreed, they did not hold a meeting on this issue, a family meeting. They just disagreed. And when they disagreed, they didn't even talk to children. So when the time came to transfer the blessing of inheritance to the owner among the two twins, Isaac actually, the text demonstrates that he spoke directly to Esau. They told him, well, young man, today is your blessing. I'm tired of this. I'm tired of holding on to it. So I'm just going to pass it over to you. So you go do this, A, B, C, D, and then you'll come and I give you an inheritance. But he spoke that in the hearing of Rebekah, but in the absence of Jacob. Now, because there was this Cold War, this unresolved conflict. You see, this Cold War is actually normally raised from these unresolved conflicts. The problem with we family members is that we suffer conflicts, but when we suffer these conflicts, we don't resolve them. We just cover them in the disguise of we are family, blood is thicker than water, all those lazy adages, blood is thicker than water, you are my brother, we shall never separate, because whether you like me or not, yeah, it doesn't make any difference, because we are brothers, we are one blood, we share the DNA. So we use that kind of language to cover conflicts. And when we cover these conflicts, we have actually done what the hen does to its eggs. We have just incubated. Every unresolved conflict is incubated, and is going to grow and give birth. It might give birth to what we might not even manage. So the earlier the better in dealing with these conflicts. And if we are honest about that. So they incubated this misunderstanding in this family. And then when the time came of passing on the inheritance, Rebekah took matters into her hands, ran outside very quickly. When her son went to the bush to look for a meat for his father to bless him, Rebekah also ran to Jacob. And then they started now plotting against Isaac's wish, that's the head of the family, and plotting against Esau's right. that is his inheritance, because the inheritance was his. So now there are two family members fighting against each other. Rebecca is fighting her husband, but she's using Jacob to fight her husband, to fight the will of her husband. That's what Rebecca is actually doing. Long story short, you know how it ended. Finally, the blessing was given to the wrong person. Okay. I know many religious people wouldn't want me to hear say that Jacob was the wrong person, but that is the fact. The inheritance was given to the wrong person. When the rightful person came home, he found that he was betrayed, and he knew that Jacob didn't know about this. Therefore, his mother actually connived against him. Now, you can imagine getting to know that all along your mother has been against you. In other words, this someone who gave birth to you. We're not talking about a stepmother. We're talking about a biological mother who has been fighting you all along and you didn't know. And that's how Esau failed. There was some kind of friction. One boy had to run away from home and stay away, for a very long time, by the way, a very long time. It took like 25 years, and he couldn't go back to their family. Then later, when he came, there was so much tension between the brothers. And of course, because of the time they had spent without seeing each other, there was that kind of image projection. We are okay, we are family, we are one blood. So the two brothers actually reunited. But the children of Esau, okay, didn't take it lightly, to the extent that the next generation after Esau became arch enemies to the children of Isaac. That generation is called the Edomites. When you read your Bible very well, you'll find that the Edomites are one of the ultimate enemies to Israelites. But Edomites are descendants of Esau. Now you can see what a cold war can become. Just because me and Jethro, my brother, are fighting, Sean and Theo are going to be enemies. They're just going to be enemies. No matter whether we resolve that conflict between me and Jethro, our children might not understand. So these are family cold wars. These are family cold wars, and they're always going to be there. Now, I wish I had time to take you through the family of King David. There was too much there, too much drama in that family, to the extent that David ends up being exiled by a family member. But this whole thing was already boiling, but in a form of a cold war, So Absalom is going to exile his old father, and David is going to be seen on the run, running away from his child. But while Absalom is like that, other children of David of different mothers, okay, are also plotting on how to capture and kill Absalom. Now that was a cold war that resulted into David being overthrown for a meantime of his throne. But there's another one also where one brother raped a sister from another mother. And then the brother who shared a mother with that sister who was raped started hunting this. Then David sent his commander Joab, reconciled these brothers, and this brother said, yeah, I'm fine. But he kept it to his heart. And I don't remember my Bible history very well, but I think eventually he killed him. I don't know who remembers the story. Will tell us later. So there are tensions. Even the Bible communicates these family tensions. It communicates these family tensions. And I am sure even you who is listening right now, you might have those tensions in your family. And the reason those tensions are not actually protruding and protracting, if that is the English word, it is because of the hypocrisy that one blood, one blood, one blood, one blood, one blood. So because of that hypocrisy of we are one blood, one blood, one blood, you have decided to incubate these conflicts, these unresolved conflicts, and now they have turned into a Cold War. This is why you find yourself when you're in a family meeting, someone is going to lash at you or rudely and aggressively, and you don't know why, and you are shocked that someone was so bitter when you had a very little misunderstanding, okay? And someone took it so personal that he or she even wanted to fight. Then you understand there has been some unresolved tension, and there has always been some Cold War, etc. These Cold Wars can go to the extent of having how do they call it? Groups. You find that for the siblings, you are 8 siblings, but Isaiah relates so much with Pedson. They have that special arrangement. They have that special arrangement. And then Jethro also has a special arrangement with Becky, but same mother, same father. Then you find those units there, and there's for this generation which has got WhatsApp groups. There's a family WhatsApp group, okay, but there are conversations that go in box, and those conversations are talking about family members in those inbox, and these are family members talking about fellow family members, and they can't take these issues into the family group WhatsApp. They just keep highlights and headlines from the family discussion and then go in box and dissect these, make conclusions, judge, make a ruling, crucify who's supposed to be crucified, and then come back to the family and then smile. So I am sure these things are going on. They're just going on. It's some kind of sociology, and it is what we are suffering from. So that's what we're talking about today. How do we manage these family Cold Wars? How do we deal with these tensions? What are the unresolved conflicts that have motivated tensions between spouses, between siblings, between parents, okay, and actually relatives? Which uncle don't you talk to? Which sibling do you take long to talk to? Which sibling do you get along easily with, and which siblings do you don't get along with easily? Why? What happened? What did you do about that? Whatever happened, what did you do about that? How has it shaped your relationship in the family? How has it shaped your conversations in the family? How has it become your experience? So that's what we're talking about today. And I would like to welcome whoever wants to start. God bless you. Okay, anyone who wants to, I hope you guys were following. I wasn't speaking to myself. Were you following? Let me first confirm. Jethro, were you following?
Yeah, I was following every bit of word.
Yes, Peter. Oh, it's Peter. Okay, good. Jet?
I was also following.
Great. Arthembana?
Yes, I was following.
All right. So who wants to go first and share whatever they have to share?
Serubidi.
Okay. David, the chairman has chosen you. Please go.
So thank you very much. Thank you, Pastor White, for the elaborate introduction. It has been elaborate. It has been informative. You have given it a biblical spin, a wonderful and a relevant one. I would like also to, okay, you avoided the historical part, but I know you wanted also to take us to the historical perspective. And the matters of Cold War are matters of conflict and conflict resolution or conflict management. In history, when Cold War took place between the United States and the Soviet Union, one of the greatest steps towards curbing the war was what it is entailed in the acronym MAD. MAD. It is called, I think, mutual. I was reading about it. Maybe Rutembana can remind me. It is called, is it mutual something destruction? Okay, mutual agreement destruction. In other words, they came to realize that if they don't do something about it, the world, they will destroy themselves. So in other words, so the first step towards curbing Cold War is to get the two parties to realize that there could result irretrievable destruction. So if my brother White, I have a problem with my brother White, a Cold War between my brother White and myself, the first step is to recognize that I have a problem with White. And White also to realize that White has a problem, I have a problem with Peter. But I wonder, is it possible that I have a Cold War with White when White has no Cold War with me? Is it possible?
No.
Huh?
No. That might be hate. You just don't like them.
Okay. Okay, yeah. So yeah, probably. But okay, step one, recognize. Number two, recognize the danger, the detrimentality of that war, of that Cold War. And then, if possible, go and face. Okay, you recognize, and then you can face you can face your brother White, and you tell him, you know what? Okay, this and this and this and that. Okay, I don't know. One time we had a brother who did that. I think at iTiS, who came up head on and said, you know what, I don't like you because blah, 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 blah. I think to me, that is the first step. Just like I said in my first claim, that Cold War management is conflict management. I submit for now. I'll come back later.
Okay, thank you. Chairman?
Yes, sir.
Yes, what do you think about these matters? How should families, or actually, are there Cold Wars in families? You could start with an experience.
Yes.
1, 2.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure. Please go ahead.
Yeah. First of all, are there Cold Wars in families? Yes. Personally, I don't know any family that doesn't have Cold Wars, including my own. And by, of course, family, we've defined it before. But yes, family Cold Wars are very common in families. It is probably how families function, not how they fail. But yes, they do exist, and I'm going to share a couple of experiences. But let me even start from...
You're trying to be positive. You're trying to be positive. That's how family function, not how how they fail.
How they fail. Yeah, because it is so common in families, and we see families, functioning in that dysfunction. Anyway,
yes.
I think 2 weeks ago, you guys saw there's a prominent family in this town. I'm not going to mention the name. The wife had denied the family access. One of the biggest landlords in this town, Kampala, those of you who know him, owners of buildings and industries. The wife had denied the siblings access to him for a long time. They actually had to go to court. So court granted access. I think you guys saw the story. And then for me, when I saw what happened after, I probably understood why this woman had denied them access. This man is in a vegetable state. So these family members got in with their videos. You know how we're a TikTok generation, recorded videos of the man in a very bad state and posted, shared. So that's how the rest of us got to know. And in the meantime, they're busy calling him chairman. Chairman Ninyawano. Did you guys see that video?
I missed it.
Chairman Tambula about Itawano. Chairman. Then they counted the steps. 1, 2, 3. Oh, chairman, well done, well done.
But then it was content.
Yes, it was content for social media. That's how the rest of us got to find out. So in other words, the woman, okay, of course, we don't know the inside story. Of course, there's property at stake and other things. But for me, I feel like the woman was protecting the husband from this, you want to, some dignity even in his, some dignity even in his, sick state. Yeah, so that's the first example I can talk about. And then the other one is a prominent musician in this town called Irene Namubiru. I don't know, again, about 2-3 weeks ago, she did an interview where she said she hasn't spoken to her mother in 13 years. Wow. Over property conflict. I think you also saw that. So yes, I guess the examples I'm giving are just confirming that Cold Wars exists. I can also share a personal experience. It's been slightly over a year since my father passed. And then before that, he had been bedridden for another year. Bedridden, I mean like real sick, can't even stand up or even bathe himself and things like that. Now, obviously, you when situations like that happen, you've got to take care of your parents,
Yeah.
And depending on your abilities financially and maybe your connection socially, you try and manage the situation. So when our dad was sick, obviously my brother in particular did more than the rest of us. Of course, he took him to the best hospitals in this town, got the specialists to look at him. He tried to make his life comfortable. Spent a lot of money, I can tell you. And of course, because of his financial muscle, he was able to spend that much. Now, little did we know that a Cold War was brewing. Or maybe it was more of resentment, but the reason I'm saying it's a Cold War is because of the things that came out when he passed. When, previously the beef was silent, people would smile in each other's faces, yeah, like how Baganda can be. But when the man died, I can tell you the family meeting we held, I think 2 days after he died. I've never seen so much anger in our family. I was actually shocked. People had beef. People were speaking things. I'm like, oh my God, is this the family I've always belonged to? As in, people were bringing out issues. The other time you did this, you guys left me to handle this old man alone. Basically all sorts of accusations and counter accusations. And then I'm like, so this beef has been there all this time, but maybe there was never an outlet, for it until the old man passed. So, and since then, of course, it's ongoing. Some people are not speaking to others, at least not as nicely as they should, but of course they're maintaining the peace, yeah, my brother. But yeah, so for me, I've had a first-hand experience. Yeah, but there's real beef happening behind the scenes. That is my personal experience. Yeah.
Okay, great. Thank you very much.
Let me first give others a chance to speak, then, or maybe you have a question for me.
Yeah, sure.
So how can we solve it? Honestly,
maybe we'll get to that later.
Okay, fine.
Okay, maybe we'll get to that later because there are many ways to kill a cat. Boy, Nathan, can you say hello?
Hello, sir.
You're welcome. How are you?
I'm all right, sir. How are you?
Yeah, sure. We are talking about family Cold Wars. That's what we're talking about. So you can listen in, but in case you want to say something, you can raise your hand. Or now that you are new here and I don't know you, if you want to say something, we'll just switch on your microphone. Or if you know the technology of raising your hand, that will be the most couth way to do it.
All right,
Stembana,
sir.
thank you. Thank you. Stembana, are you there? Omtwezo bayo. Okay. He might even have dropped off. But anyway, so basically what we are talking about here is a reality. Is a reality. And I could be talking to victims of family cold wars. You see, they are victims. The victims of family cold wars are, they could be children. Your parents, who are actually siblings, had misunderstandings. And before you know it, as a child of either, you were a victim. Like I gave you an example. The Israelites and the Edomites were victims of past Cold Wars, past familial Cold Wars. And they started fighting and killing each other and, you know, disrupting each other, actually. So we could be speaking to victims of family Cold Wars, but we could also be speaking to villains of these family Cold Wars, whereby you are the culprit yourself. You don't like so and so. You don't like so and so, and then we have realized that the problem with these family Cold Wars is our tendency to not deal with them directly, but deal with them, even when we're going to deal with them, we deal with them indirectly. That's the unfortunate bit, the first unfortunate bit. We are not dealing with these conflicts directly. We are indirectly dealing with these conflicts. And this is why they even take long to be resolved. And this is why they might even never be resolved. We have now come to a point where, and I liked what the chairman said, we have now come to the point where these family Cold Wars have become the functionality of families. When you even talk about the problem, they tell you, families are like that. Families are like that. So in my experience, I used to complain to my sister about our family conflicts. And then she always told me, families are like that. It's only that you only know your family. If you belong to another family, you ask other people, ask your friends what is happening in their families. Families are like that. Families are like that. Now, this dysfunction becomes our functionality. and people get used to it, you know. And when you complain that this is wrong, this is something we need to change, they tell you, grow up. They address you as a newcomer, which is so sad. Yeah, it is really sad. For me, I think it is sad. So we really need to talk about this issue, and we see where we can get. So now that I have I've lost my Ruthembana and he might not come, I want to ask a question. Should we always be open about these Cold Wars? If we do, isn't it risking the family? Is it worth dealing with this family, or it is better we live in this hypocrisy and we continue fighting? Isn't it better to coexist with these wars than getting rid of them?
especially if by tackling them directly, we are going to hurt the family. Isn't the family more precious than these wars?
I have been, thank you. I've been thinking about Abel and Cain.
Mm.
And I was wondering, did the parents get to know the Cold War that was taking place between the siblings? At least to begin with.
Mm.
I was wondering, and I'm using Abel and Abel and Cain to appeal to me and to anyone else listening in later or right now. If I have a problem with my brother Tumwine right now, do our parents know? Does Mr. Manuel know that there is bad blood between Tumwine and Seruvide? They are sons. You know, because when they get to know, probably they do something. When they do not get to know, then they cannot do anything. That is number one. Number two, should we, is the question, should we go straight? Should we make first this Cold War known to the participants and to every stakeholder? I want to think, yes, we should. That is the first step. We should. Because when we do not, chances of destruction are more sure in ignorance than in knowledge. Hey, at least if I get to know why, Tumwine mwewe wale, so I'll get to know how to avoid my Tumwine, my real brother. So, otherwise, if I don't get to know that I must avoid him, and I behave recklessly with him, things would turn bad, because I probably wouldn't have lost the family of Mr. and Mrs. Let me Mr. and Mrs. them. Mr. and Mrs. Adam wouldn't have lost their son. In fact, by losing Abel, they lost Cain. Now that's the interesting thing. As you lose Tumwine, you lose Seruvide.
No, that is the dysfunctionality of our turning these wars our functionality. Because when we think that this is how families are, it is okay, because this is how families are. Just learn to live with it. We are losing at the end of the day. We are going to lose relatives.
Exactly.
Yes, continue.
Exactly. You know, Pastor White, we have struggled. Here is a family. My father lives like a distance, okay, and then we have a brother and a wife, and now it is not our mother now living with our father, okay, our biological mother, or rather our birth mother. It's not our birth mother in our father's house now, but our other mother has taken care of our father for now 20 years. 20 years, and I'm grateful for that. We have brothers from our mother, okay? The eldest is now turning 19 this year. The other is turning 16. No, 17. I think turning 17, you know? And now every time then our mother our mother with our father is taking care of us, or rather taking care of our dad. They're leaving. When you reach there, you see that dad is being cared after or taken care of, But there is Cold War between my brother, one of my elder brothers, Cold War between his wife and our mother. And I'm talking of our mother who lives with our father. And they live within just a distance. I mean, if dad's home is at Eureka, then my brother's home is just, I think, at the traffic lights. For those who know Tinder Place, I'm sorry to say this, but you know, and every time we go and talk about these things directly, you feel relieved, and we think something has now, probably reconciliation will come, maybe the beef will, but every time you return, every time you go back, every time you make a call, things are not working out. Despite the fact, despite our incessant trying to conciliate, to talk about it, to you know, to sit around the table, and things do not seem to work. They just work for a moment, and immediately we leave. So I don't know what the best way would be. Even when you go head on, or even when you face your devils, sometimes they don't. I think we have willingness, the will to have this thing resolved. That will, I think it matters a lot. Number one. Number two, there is something when you and I were, I've been brothers for a long time. And there is something you one time asked me. You said, you know what, Peter, the reason why you and I insult or offend each other, but we still hold together, is because of that goodwill, that love, what you called it love, that will that, you know, I love him. I'm not willing to let him. I'm not willing to lose him. You know, I love him. That, you know, I don't know whether we should force it or it comes naturally. That Isaiah keeps, I insult him, he insults me. We go we go down one's neck through words, through and so on. But again, we still come back. And so what is that? Should we find a ground which can we find that which holds us together? What is the string that is keeping Serubi and Tumina together, despite the fact that these guys collide? If they take a month without colliding, they will take, in another month they will. If they take this 2024 without collision, believe me, they will collide 2025. Why? But they still, what keeps us coming back to each other together? I think we should start there.
Okay.
Mm.
Thank you. Zachary, you're welcome. It's good to have you around. It's been quite a while. Are you there? Zachary, can you say hello? Pastor Zachary?
Hello. Yes, priest, I'm around.
Okay, praise God.
Yeah, thank you. I'm following.
Okay, that's good. That's good. Keep following then. Now, I have a question. Chairman, are you there? Now that Rutembana is struggling with his
Rutembana
network.
had switched on his microphone. Petson, can you hear us? He had switched on his microphone. Okay.
Hello?
Yes, Petson.
If
First
I
go
know
with
if the network,
Rutembana.
I don't know if the network is okay.
Yeah, it is okay.
Hey.
Yeah, well, I wanted to hear. Yeah, you are following. Please go ahead.
Yes. I've been following, but I don't know what's wrong with my phone. But from your introduction of the topic, it really seems that this is a problem everywhere, and one I want to learn from this discussion. Really, what can we do? Because it's a big problem. What I'm going to say is, you know, when you have a conflict with an outsider, it's very quick to solve it, and you solve it and it ends there. And that's why those ones don't last for long. You gave a good illustration of the Cold War. If you compare the Cold War and the World War, the World War took to 39 to 45, took about 7 years. The Cold War stretched from 1945 up to 1991 when they removed the Berlin Wall. But the number of people who died during the Cold War are much more than how many people died during the World War. So
Exactly.
Now those wars that we fight in secrecy, they are really deadly. So when the war is in the family, one, you cannot solve it externally. You'll have to keep meeting with these people. You smile, but deep down in your heart, you're burning or you're bleeding. And this goes on forever and ever. Sometimes some people start fighting these wars when they are young, and they fight these wars until they are in their 90s, which is quite sad. So me, I want to hear the ideas of how we can openly fight against it, because this is a very big problem. When you talk about witchcraft, when you talk about homicides, all these things are coming from such things.
Yeah, sure. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. My daughter, Sandra, you're welcome. I hope you're okay. Good. Nathan, do you want to say something before I go to the chairman? I have a question for you, chairman, but I want to hear whether Nathan has something to say.
Well, but my background, there is some noise.
Okay.
Maybe after some.
Okay, fine.
Oh, you can get me.
Yeah, sure, we can. We can. But we thought that you are not comfortable with your own background. But for us, we can work with that. Nathan?
Hello, sir.
Yes, we can work with that. If you have anything to say, you should share it now.
About the Cold War, as you discussed, personally, I'm thinking we just have to live with them.
Okay.
Actually, I have a story to share about this of recent, not some time back. It was my elder brother. I didn't know, but it was after some discussion that I realized I had issues with my mulamo, his wife.
Okay. Okay.
Because I don't talk to the woman so oftenly, but then she started accusing me, I don't like my brother. I didn't know that. But then, personally, I just used to like criticize whatever he used to do was like not good. And then the wife was not comfortable with what I used to say because she thought I was young, too young to talk to my brother in such a way. And you know, now an elder brother will always think that what they do is right. And so you, as the younger brother, you have not to say anything about them. But personally, I thought he had appreciated whatever I was saying. Don't do this, don't do this. What you're doing is not right. But then when we had a meeting with the parents of the girl, that one does not like my husband, whatever. I just think we cannot go away with these things. You're living comfortable with your brother telling him what not to do and what to do, but then someone else is not fine with what you're doing. Then how can you even handle that? So personally, I just think that maybe we should appreciate sin came, and that's how things we cannot do away with. You just have to appreciate that. That's nature. We have to go like that. That's my submission about that.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Nathan. God bless you. Chairman.
Yes.
Is family a forced relationship? Must we be friends? Must we relate because we are family? Or it is okay not to relate, regardless?
Difficult question, but what I can say, let me just quickly, rather briefly go back to the design or maybe design flow in this whole family thing. There are two Cold Wars which are by design of family. The first one is between the daughter, rather a mother and the daughter-in-law. That one by design is I think designed to be a Cold War. In fact, when it works out,
choice?
By design, when it works out, it even makes news. You know? But otherwise, it's by design, it's a Cold War.
Okay.
The other one is the Abalamu, the sisters-in-law and the wife in the home. That one also by design is meant to be a Cold War. In fact, somebody joked and said, you see how mothers-in-law fight with their daughters-in-law? Yes, why don't fathers fight with their sons-in-law? And then he said, because they're dealing with the same problems. So, so I think some Cold Wars are by design. That's what I wanted to say. Now, back to your question, should a relationship work out? I think there should be a bare minimum. At least there should be an open channel of communication. For me, that's good enough. It's better than no communication channel. Or maybe I'm speaking as the polite one here, but I think, especially between siblings or parents, there should be some minimum level of communication. Even if you don't like each other much, even if you don't work together in many things, but at least have that small channel of communication. So I guess that what I'm saying is that the relationship should be there, even if it is strained. It is better than no relationship at all. That's what I think.
Yeah, but you see, the challenge that we get normally with that channel of communication. Again, we shall use the example of the Cold War between the United States and the Soviet Union. Is that the communication is not communicating what is. It is communicating what works for the Cold War. Do you guys understand? So basically, there is
explain.
There is no communication, but there is miscommunication, because people tend not to express how they feel to family members in a conflict, but they tend to communicate exactly how they feel to non-family members while in a conflict. True or false?
Let me hear from the saints here.
So because of that reality, even the communication between family members who are in a conflict is broken. They are just talking to each other, yes, but they are not communicating. You sit these people whom you have realized they have a Cold War between, these family members, whom you have realized they have a family war, there's a Cold War between them. And then when you meet these individuals and maybe you are the third party, everyone is saying, but I'm all right. I am really all right. Why does he think that I have a problem? I don't have a problem. I don't have a problem. Why? Because one of the fighters in this Cold War is suspicious with the middleman, the person who has started the reconciliation is suspicious. Or the other in the Cold War is suspicious on how the family is going to look at them from that. Their family image is at risk. So they rather play the hypocritical card, and this war stays underneath, coiling and slithering like a snake, than opening up the wound, bleeding, because it looks like family doesn't want to conduct surgeries on their conflicts. They just want to take painkillers. They just want to take painkillers, cover their wounds, and take tabs instead of taking it to the surgeon to cut, and we cut it out, bleeding. For them, resolving these Cold Wars is like creating an unnecessary wound, yet they can manage this tetanus.
Yeah, true.
Yes. So do you want to continue?
No. Just give someone a chance.
Mr. Luvunya, you're welcome. We normally want to know that someone is following and is listening. Can you say hello? Mr. Luvunya. I hope I'm pronouncing the name right.
Yes, yes, please.
Yeah, sure. It's good to know that you can hear us. Please keep keep following. In case you want to say something, you can raise your hand or actually switch on your microphone. I will note that and then call you in. All right then.
Okay, please.
Pastor Zachary, you've listened enough. Do you want to say something?
Well, I'm following. I've been following, and I'm still following. This Cold War, my friend, is everywhere. I thought it's only in our home. Personally, I've struggled with that until I see it now. Let me just learn to adjust myself. Maybe sometimes I thought I have a problem because I have, like me, the step brothers and also the brothers. At the times, for you think that you are treating everybody equally, but you come to learn that some of them just have a war with you, Cold War, which you are not even aware. And so handling, I've tried to deal with it not for not less than 5 years or even more. And at times I thought, sometimes you are called and you are told, you see, your brother said this. He said this because you went to school. Now you are proud. You see, for us, because we did not go, so you underlook at and so forth and so forth. And like, for you have a job. For us, we have this other kind of jobs. Yours. So you hear some things and you are like, what do you mean? And personally, how I have been able to handle it. Okay, I can't say that I've been able to handle it fully, but I just decided, like, maybe I could be having a problem. Let me just try to understand each of them at their level, the best I can. And the best I can is, well, sometimes when my feelings are telling me that, you see, this is indeed bad for him to say this about you or to do this for you, I feel like maybe I need to inform my feelings that it is okay. Because at times I feel I have no right to be angry, to be angry over whatever has been said, over the war that has been waged against me. So I think sometimes we need to speak to our feelings. As a psychologist, I sometimes think, like, if you cannot be in charge of your feelings, then you can end up exploding. And so the question maybe, priest, we can ask is whether you who is detecting that war, you are right. Are you right to detect that this is a war waged against me? Or probably you are misinformed by your feelings. If you are right, then how do you justify that? And that's why, like a priest, you are saying that you ask somebody, or you send somebody to ask your brother, somebody saying you are at war with him, you are doing this and that. See, no, for us, we are okay. We even talk, we even shake hands. Even, in fact, we have been with him, we have taken tea. We have taken tea with him. Could it be like, I think we need to speak to our feelings. We need to speak to, sometimes, if at all you want to avoid stress, you want to avoid, unnecessary attacks, which may eventually become self-attack. Protect yourself, save yourself from heart attack. That is self-attack. So I think at times it is good to speak to ourselves, have a meeting with yourself, let yourself inform yourself what you think can be right, that can easily keep you safe and keep the relationship going. I think that's what because these things are everywhere. So, priest, I think it's in fact, you are speaking to me. Well, thank you. Thank you. Let me follow.
Okay,
Yeah.
blessing. Thank you very much. My daughter Sandra is my daughter. There are those family members who always blame us for not checking on them, but these are the same people who never check on us as well. I hope, Sandra, you're not talking to me. Me, I would think that for us as family members to say and have a good relationship, this should be a two-way. But some people take it like you should always be the one to look for them. If I am the one looking for you all the time, I get at a point where I am exhausted and I can't do it anymore. Because this looks like I am tying myself on you. I'm trying to translate the Luganda here for our public. Thank you, my daughter. I hope you are not talking to me because you will get a slap for that. Okay. But thank you, daughter. Well, let me start from not that if I'm not checking on you as a family member, does that necessarily mean there's a cold war between us? Or we are just negligent? Yes, daughter. Say whatever I want to say.
Some people take it like it is a crime. For example, I have an auntie. Okay, I used to see her when I was small, and when we really grew up, okay, when we came to Kampala, we were not really interacting that much. So the connection is actually not there. But you know, like they call you and make it seem like a crime. You don't even check on us. You don't know we exist. And you feel like, oh my God, what an entitlement this one has. And then you feel like when you keep quiet, you're like, oh no, Auntie Kati, what do they think about me? And it's at some point it feels like maybe you're having actually a war with someone for not checking on them. And you know they are your elders, like she's your auntie. It looks like you being the young one, it is a must that you have to check on them. And yet I feel like it is not.
Okay, yeah. So they take things personal, unnecessarily, and then before you know it, it is now a war between you actually. Yeah, sure. I appreciate that. I appreciate that point. Well, yes, Luvunya, your microphone is on. Do you want to say something?
Yes, I wanted to say something. Good evening, everyone here.
Good evening. Good evening.
Now, this is almost a question. Literally, I've been battling with the same concern some time back, but I think this goes back to friendship. I think it is beyond being genetic because there are many people who are family members, but they are not friends. And that compatibility, sometimes I don't know whether it is spiritual or divine. Because I think it is even beyond just being responsible, but there is a connectivity. Sometimes there are people you feel connected to. Even when they speak, you feel like they are speaking to your heart or to yourself every time. Even the way you respect them, you feel like there is a special connectivity. Even when someone, even just having a missed call of theirs. Now, we fight so much to be in good terms with everyone, only to separate, or probably it's like the Oedipus complex. We fight so much not to annoy others or to be in good terms with everyone, but anyway, end up probably annoying them or even disappointing them. But then, the issue of not calling someone or not checking on them, I think it is a little bit broad according to how you built your relationship or your friendship together. There are family members who are not so close, and there are those friends we've just met probably at school or a place of work or in different places, or probably just met them at the cafe, and they become so special in our lives. So we cannot force that friendship. In fact, I've seen even spouses, you are not friends, even parents, you are not friends, even with children. they're not friends. So sometimes it's like a blessing. We realize family connects with each other, they call themselves. Then they think about communication. That is also built from the friendship I think people have. I cannot literally explain it. I thought probably it is either divine or spiritual that people can bond. That even when you say something, someone can even come and apologize. Then other people also have a negative, they also are too negative for life that even something small can annoy them. They feel bad about other people's achievements. I think that is just a negative attitude that now they begin to build a cold war that you cannot even fight for because at some point they don't want to feel like for them they are to blame for their faults, but they want to extend the blame game to others that they are not well because of the other person or they are not happy because of the elder brother and things like that. So I think it's just a defense mechanism of that kind of cold war. Thank you. I wouldn't want to speak much.
No. We actually interested. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for that experience. Now we have 30 minutes, and the chairman will decide at the top of the hour how many minutes we should borrow now that we came late. But for now, I wanted us to go to, now that we have accepted that there are cold wars. In fact, majority of families are suffering this. How do we deal? Okay, how do we deal with these cold wars? I would like us now to start coming up with remedies. How do we deal? Yes, Sandra.
Now, before I get to answer your question, I wanted to share some experiences. I think it was in 2023. I have one of my cousin brothers who is not in the country. So this brother of mine gets in touch with me. He left a girlfriend who was pregnant. So when this guy gets in touch with me, he tells me, I left a girl who's pregnant, and you being the midwife, of course, I want you to get in touch with her and see that you help me. Because what this girl was doing was like extorting money out of the guy. Now, I am like, hey, it's okay, I will help. Now, I talked to this girl, we met, and we switched to the hospital. She shifted from where she was doing her mental, came to our hospital. So we walked the journey after delivery. During delivery, I was actually there. Leave alone being the midwife, but I was actually like someone helping her. Because people were there, like attendants, but they weren't doing anything. So I would be there like someone, like maybe you would be there for your sister or someone very close to you. Now, after that, I had some challenges and I was talking to this guy. I told him, can you borrow me some money? I'm going to pay back. Now, this cousin brother of mine, I think, gets to share with a cousin sister. Now, which I think this cousin sister of mine didn't take it nicely. And the next thing I saw was her posting on her status. I read the status and I was like, oh my God, what is this? I didn't tell her anything. I read the status and kept quiet. And up to now, we've never exchanged words with that girl. So, you see how wars start. It is because I felt like, anyway, after all, first of all, she wasn't even concerned. She's not the person I had talked to, but the way she took it very personal, it made me very offended, and I am like, let me just go silent. This one I can't even talk to her because first of all, she doesn't understand. So me, what I think in such situations, because you feel like you're really tying yourself too much on someone and they've showed you they do not need you in their life. So you would rather stay in your comfort, keep quiet, move on with your life. Whenever they need you, they will always look for you. That is what I think.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Dr. And thank you for that experience. Now you see how this modern generation actually fights their cold wars. They they philosophically communicate on social media. You read someone's status and you seem like you understand what they're saying and you don't understand it. Then you read again and again. Some actually hire other social media handles to communicate to you. Then before you know it, there's a stranger that has details about you, and they are running that content on their social media, you know. Then you get to know that a certain family member is in a cold war with you. And then normally what we do, we also do the same, and we also respond in kind. We also go to our status. And before you know it, we are already in a war, but in a cold form, in an indirect form. So I want us to go direct to remedies. How do we deal with that? Yes, Luvunya. Am I pronouncing your name right? Please pronounce your name.
It's okay, Luvunya Joffrey. It's fine, yeah.
Okay.
It's okay. Now, of course, finding a remedy for a problem, it means we've understood the problem.
We assume.
Maybe the cause. We have gotten the cause. Most cases, first of all, is to add value to you as a person, because people want to associate with someone with value. Most cases, you realize the sole cause, there are many causes of these cold wars in families, but most cases, you realize some are really centered about the financial status of family members. Then sometimes when you see it is mitigated, sometimes it helps out. People are okay, people are doing well. When they have problems, they can all help out here and there. And then there's some people who really just need to take the change, because if you have problems with people, it's okay. But if all people have a problem with you, then sincerely you need to check yourself. If all people have a problem with you, sincerely, can you really be a bad person to everyone and everywhere, every day? That is a problem that you need to check yourself through it. Then probably the other thing that can help out is that feeling of godliness. Sometimes the problem is when, especially the church, that the family is so permissive or liberal that everyone probably would believe in what they want and things like that. But at least there is a connectivity of religious attachment in behavior. Sometimes literally realize the resolutions you have when you have conflict are sometimes forgiving, opening up, praying over one another. But if people literally are not religious, not necessarily born again, but you can even be a Muslim, but at least you're a believer. There are things someone cannot even go to the extreme, things like that. So bringing family closer to God, sometimes they can help out. I think those are a few ideas I could speak about this very subject you're discussing. Thank you so much.
Okay, you're welcome. Thank you so much. Yes, Professor Servid, any remedy?
When Cold War started or broke up between United States and the Soviet Union between 1947 and 1991, one of the remedies was United Nations Organization. So after what Mr. Luvunya has just submitted, having identified the problem, I think that is number one. What is the problem? Or what was the source? What is the source of the problem? So I think also we can create a united family organization where we meet and talk about such matters.
Family UN.
Family UN. Thank you very much, Pastor. Yeah, a family UN where we can talk about. I mean, step one, what Mr. Luvunya has rightly observed. What is the problem? Number two, what is the source of the problem? Then after that, then the solution, we can now find remedy. Then after that, one of the remedies, we can have a united family organization. Well, not just on WhatsApp, but we can agree to regularly meet maybe quarterly meetings or quarterly meets where we could meet and have a little chat, and we have a talk, and we have a follow-up. But now it will come and then katutu say or something like that. Without threats, without intimidation. But also, I'd like to re-emphasize that we have studied at iTiS World of Worship Fellowship. We have studied something called the Beatitudes, and the Beatitudes are a product of God, of the work of God in us. So the greatest solution, everlasting solution, is to surrender to the God, who created us, who knows us better. We surrender our hearts to him, and we allow that he creates us again, giving us a new attitude, an attitude that will never see my brother white as a Mnyankore or as a Mtoro or as a Mnyarwanda. That attitude alone, to see him and say, this is my real brother. Anything that happens to him, it is happening to me. If he's in deep trouble, I am in deep trouble. That attitude is a creation of God by the grace of God.
Okay, thank you. Thank you so much, Professor. That was helpful. Nathan, do you want to give some remedy?
Okay, on that, I personally think individually, if you really know that what you're doing is right, you have to go on.
Yes, if your conscience is okay. We lost you, Nathan. Am I alone?
I lost him too.
Okay, sure. Nathan, can you fix your network and then come back? Let us know when you're back. We can't hear you. That is if you can hear us yourself. Zachary, the psychologist, do you have some remedies? Or you want to act psychological and listen to us? Pastor Zachary?
Oh, sorry, priest, I've been on a call. Let me fall a bit and then I will respond.
Okay, that's all right. Thank you. Sorry to interrupt. Good. I'm left with you, Chairman. Chairman? Okay, is it a network thing or you are speaking while you are muted? Chairman, are you there? Okay, Peter, I wanted to call you.
Now, I'm still. Let me continue with the attitude.
Yes.
You know, when we were learning about, when we were being taught at iTiS about the attitude, we had the attitude of the interpretation of that word was contentment, an attitude of contentment. You know, it is a problem if we think. I'm facing certain problems, my family problems, which you're aware of, and when I was talking, I said, guys, this is not a do or die. No, it's not a do or die. It is, I mean, yes, this relationship is of value, but its value, it is not a value unto death. No, it is not a life value. If it were, I was telling them, if it were a life value, then the God whom I worship, who became a human being, would have died for it. But this God, however much he appreciates the value of the relationships, of such relationship, this God did not die for this value. This God died for us.
Okay.
So we are more important than this relationship that we would like to die for. So we matter more we matter more. So if you try to have yourselves matter, if you want to to understand that Isaiah matters, that Seruvide matters, Luvunya matters, Opio matters, Zachary matters. One time, Pastor White, think now a decade plus, you were talking about, you were presenting about sexual permissiveness or sexual immorality. And you said that we have a mistake of equating our enjoyment with us.
They are different.
We confuse our enjoyment with us. So let me just flip it. We confuse we confuse the relationship with us. We matter. So that attitude first will say Isaiah matters. Isaiah might not matter in anything. Candy said, okay. Now, yeah, do we have that attitude that as a human being, dignity, good, human dignity? Does Isaiah matter? One time you were teaching me about repentance, about what had happened to me. And then you say, repent first by repenting on behalf for everyone whom you hurt. And then repent not to do what you did again.
You so far to others.
Exactly. Yeah. So but when things fail, we should also have that attitude of understanding that where we are, things fail. So while we would like to have reconciliation, while we would like to have reconciliation, while we would like to have harmony, while we would like to have a working relationship, if it fails, an attitude that yes, it has failed, and yes, it has failed, that is also okay, I think. That's what I would like to say. Yeah, I mean, to Anobigana, we are in a world where things fail.
Okay,
so
brilliant. Thank you. Luvunya coming. Geoffrey, are you there? Because your microphone was on, I thought you wanted to say something.
Chairman, I muted him because he had background noise.
He was. Yeah, sure. I thought he was just uploading.
Disturbing us.
I thought it was okay. But
No.
Chairman, now that you're back, do you have some remedies?
I think these two guys have submitted very well. It's important to understand the problem before you attempt to solve it. I'm not going to repeat that because most of us are not talking to our family members because of issues we don't even know about or we never participated in the beginning.
Okay.
Because your grandfather and his brother didn't talk, now even as the grandchildren are not talking. All we're told is that family, those are bad people. Never eat anything there, never drink anything from there, you know? So for me, the first remedy is to understand if you have a cold war happening, what is the real issue? Again, I don't want to repeat what the other guys have submitted. Understand the issue. And after you've understood it, try and supply an appropriate solution.
Yes.
But also I would like to go on the flip side and say some things will never be solved. It is unfortunate.
Okay.
Some things you have to learn how to live with them.
That is the reality of
you
life.
Make peace and say, this side of the family we never talk, and that's it. And it's the reality. Because sometimes Peter is the one who earlier talked about conflict resolution or even conflict management. Sometimes it doesn't happen because it takes two or more to tango here. So some things you have to live with. Some cold wars you live with, you probably even pass on to your children, which is very unfortunate. But in the broken world, it happens. Yeah.
Interesting. Thank you very much. Good. Any other person wants to say something? Zachary, your microphone is now on.
Yeah, I think to me, at times you may try to dig deep to get the cause, and you may not.
Yes.
I'm still insisting that maybe the best way to handle is not to handle the situation.
So you have decided to leave the Cold War alone. So you're telling us leave some issues alone.
Yeah, some issues, just leave them alone. In fact, you will save yourself from unnecessary stress. Because one thing you need to learn in life is that you have a life to live, your family to take care of, you have your own life journey, which does not necessarily include the siblings or your brothers and sisters or whoever out there. So clinging to or being so much concerned or digging deep to understand the cause of why this person is hating me, why is he not concerned about me and he wants me to be concerned about, why is doing this and that, that will bring to you unnecessary stress. Just learn to understand people that this is how a swine behave.
Okay.
Just respect that. When you meet with it, just say hi and move on.
Okay.
Yes.
But Pastor, that is strong language, my brother. If you meet a swine,
yeah, you accept it as a swine, and I don't know where that leaves the brother of that swine. But anyway, that will be for another day.
No, Pastor, you see,
yes.
when you understand that this is a swine, you learn how to live with it. When you think this is a sheep, I mean, when you know it is a swine and you handle it as a sheep, then you will be in trouble. In fact,
Yes.
unnecessary trouble.
True.
the metaphor is so
appealing. I'm
so
sure that's what you want to say. All right. Gentlemen, I would like to thank you. This is so interesting. As usual, it's really interesting. Now, I would like to ask. I have learned much in this discussion. Would you mind if I try to summarize all the thoughts that you guys have shared, and then after anyone who wants to give a comment will? Is that okay?
No problem.
Okay, fine.
No problem.
Okay, fine. Number one, family does not mean forced friendship. It is okay to be family, but not friends. The problem is that we think that family is guarantee to compatibility. But we must understand, we must learn, we must relearn that you can be family and at the same time incompatible. Note that. Number one, under that issue of family is not forced friendship or forced relationship. While we need to understand that family is not a guaranteed relationship because we are family, that does not necessarily mean that we are going to have a relationship, a good one for that matter. We must learn another thing that is quite also important, that family is both living and living. family is both living, Living, and leaving, Leaving. So when you are a member and part of any family, and you are leaving, Living, thank God. But there comes a time when you need to leave, Leve, that family, and it is okay. Because sometimes you are the toxic family member, and you can only do us a favor and get rid of yourself. And sometimes the other family members are toxic. It is okay to leave. So we have an experience in the Bible in Genesis chapter 12, and Abraham was asked by God, in quotes, to leave his family. So I want to talk to family members here. It is okay to leave. Than staying to fight. It is okay to leave. That is leaving part A. Leaving part B is where you have to leave some wars. Leave issues to be. Just let them. Just learn. Leaving issues is learning to live with it. Live with the fact that Zachary doesn't like you. That is Live. Then leave the tendency of trying to fix things between you and Zachary, because the only issue between you and Zachary is that he doesn't like you. And ladies and gentlemen, it is not a crime to not like the other person, regardless of your biological ties. So leave it alone. That's what Pastor Zachary was trying to teach us. So I guess now you understand that family is both living and leaving. Amen?
Amen.
Now, I want to move now to the remedies that you have actually given. I hope I won't misrepresent you guys as we wind up. Chairman, can we, how many minutes should we borrow?
An extra 10.
Okay, fine, good. Now, remedies. And the remedies I'm going to give are not chronological, okay? You will arrange them, because the reason that's why they are not chronological, it is because every situation and circumstance has got its approach, and we're not saying that this is 1 + 1 = 2, and we're not trying to think in black and white. We are saying that we are giving you principles, the principal approach to a remedy to these family cold wars. Number one, again, not chronological. You have to come to terms with the fact that family members are human beings. One of the things that I've realized in my experience and the experiences of others is that we tend not to look at family members as human beings. We have a special treatment and perception of a family member. Okay? And we think that because Jethro is my brother, he is not like Drake, that's a random name, who is not my brother. And therefore, Jethro is not, as a human being, as Drake is. So what Jethro does to me has got a special effect and a different effect. And the responses take long. The processing what Jethro has done to me is always bound to he is my brother. How could he? How could he? How? but you don't ask the same when a random person does the same thing. You say, but people, that's who people are. You don't take it so much personal when a brother or a family member does something to you. You take it so personal than when another person does it. So we need to come to terms with the truth that family members are human beings. And because they are human beings, they are going to do what all other human beings do. And we all know. So we should stop this tendency of thinking that you are safe. You are 100% safe and secure around family members, and then you are careful when you are with strangers. The care, the attention, the relationship tactics that we exercise when we are with strangers should be the same care and tactics that we exercise when we are with family members. We should stop taking our family members for granted, because this is how we hurt them and this is how they hurt us. Okay? Okay? And I think that is important. Number 2, we should exercise acceptance and not denial. Normally, when we conflict with our family members, one of the reasons why these conflicts take long and turn into cold wars, it is because we fail to accept and we are in denial. No, Jethro cannot do this. He cannot. And the more you deny, the more reality hits you. And you continue denying. You go into denying. Then before you know it, actually, you are now in the stages of grief. You are now angry. You start bargaining through other family members. Then other family members also take sides. You fall into depression. Now it becomes a war. Why? Because you fail to accept that it is true. Your family, your mother has betrayed you. It is true. And your mother is not a human being. Remember point number 1? She's your mother. Those names we call these human beings have deflected our understanding of humanity. Brother, mother, father, wife, husband, in-law. In the process, we forget that these are just tags on the common denominator. Human beings, fallen human beings who can do anything. So we fail to accept. So one of the ways to deal with this whole thing is to accept. Stop denying. Stop hiding. Stop pretending. Accept. Accept. Number 3. We must exercise brutal honesty. Brutal honesty. Brutal honesty will serve as an altar where we slaughter hypocrisy. We must calculatively, of course. And by calculative, I mean timing, when and where. Timing is very, very crucial. Where, when, who, that's after you've done analysis. You have to come to a point where you exercise brutal honesty. And what I mean by brutal honesty is not the ethics of honesty, but make sure that you say it as it is. So how you're going to frame that, the circumstances will determine that. But come to a point where you have to slaughter the hypocrisy and break it out. Okay? Sit with that individual and tell them exactly how you feel, what you know they did, and pray that even the other party also will do the same to you. And then brutal honesty will transition from saying what happened between you to another stage where you can agree that you guys cannot relate. It is okay, because family is both living and living. It is a point where you come, you sit with your brother, and Chairman, you want to come in?
No, please proceed.
It is a point where you sit with your brother, sit with your wife, sit with your, and then say, we can't be friends. Let's be honest, this thing is not working. I have no problem against you. You have no problem against me, but we cannot relate. That is also brutal honesty. That will help you from forcing things, because when you force things, you become hypocrites. And then in the process of hypocrisy, cold wars will be burst. We are dealing with human beings, remember. The psychology is very, very, very broad. so you have to be careful. In that brutal honesty is where now you understand the problem, define it, okay, state it after you've understood it. Because you see, the issue with understanding the problem is that the problem could be that you brothers cannot be friends. And that is the problem. And that is, not every problem should be solved. This also should be understood. Not all problems can be solved, because not choosing you as a friend really is something that cannot be solved. And you can't force friendship. That's why I said family is not a forced friendship. So get to that point where you guys cannot be friends, and that will not change anything from being family members. And it is not like if you're not friends, therefore you are going to fight. We don't fight with everyone. And we know we have a few friends of the 8 billion population of the world. Not everyone is our friend, but we have that kind of restricted relationship and that kind of open relationship with friends, and a restricted one with those who are not friends. But we know, for instance, not everyone you work with at work, they are your friends. No, they are workmates. So someone, just like you work with your workmates who are not your friends, and you have workmates who double as your friends, then you can have family members who double as friends, and you can have family members who are just family members. So brutal honesty must get you to that point. Okay? And then the war will die, because now you know where they stand and you know where you stand. And it is all right, really. It is all right. Okay? Number 4, as family members, as individual family members, you must work on the spirit of entitlement. Because most of us family members, we struggle with this spirit of entitlement. Okay? And you see, this spirit of entitlement is disguised ego. It is ego camouflaged. It is self. There is a way we family members feel entitled. For instance, like something my daughter was saying here. You have not taken a step to be friends with me. You have not. But you are there at your post, guarding it, and you are judging me that I do not check on you. But have you checked on me? No, no, I am your auntie. You have to check on why. What is wrong with an auntie checking on their niece? Okay? What? Why do you think that the other family member should take the initiative, should initiate the relationship, and not you? Why are you entitled? I am your elder brother. You should be telling me. Okay, elder brother, did you ask? did you ask? Why do you have that kind of entitlement? Like the experience that Nathan was giving us. You are a wife to my elder brother. Okay? Why do you feel entitled to defend my brother who serves as your husband against me, who grew up with him actually? Why don't you take the initiative to understand our relationship, to understand me? Why do we want to be understood and not understand? Because these are the issues in the family. Why do you think that you taking care of our parent and spending more on our parent, that gives you an entitlement to become the vice parent, and we should look at you like the person who has taken over just because you spent more on that? Why should we? Why do you think that every family member should celebrate you because the rice they ate, you are the one who bought it? And just because they didn't celebrate you, they thanked you. And your issue is not that they were not thankful. They were thankful, but your issue is that they are not actually worshiping you. So that kind of ego and self, okay, should be surrendered. For us Christians, we surrender to God. There must be an authority where we surrender our egos. And there must be an authority where we sacrifice these egos and the self. And we kill that kind of entitlement. Okay? And after we have sacrificed that kind of entitlement, then we will exercise that kind of humility, all right? And come to a place where I must win or they lose, and come to a point of win-win. Because these family battles, the problem with these family battles is that I either win or they lose. And normally that war goes on and on and on and on and on. You see? And then it turns into a Cold War. And families turn a Cold War, that dysfunction, into a functional mode. When you ask them, but things they are not, that's how we are, that's how we are, you'll get used. You are welcome, you'll get used. That's how we have been for the last 20 years. You have turned dysfunctionality into functionality, which is a very unfortunate thing. Okay? So get to that point where you are humble, where you are willing to lose something to sustain and rescue your family relationship, rather than insisting on I am right. It is okay, my brother, my sister, my mother, my father. It is okay to be right, but you have to come to a point where you sacrifice your rightness, okay, for the better functional family. So you release, okay, relegate your rightness for the better of the functionality of this whole unit of the family. So kill the entitlement, kill that attitude of entitlement. Just kill it, sacrifice it, surrender it. And then these wars will die natural death, will die gradually. Will die gradually. Now, finally, And I think this is number 5, and it could be a radical one, but please bear with me. Fences and bridges are equal and accepted or acceptable in these family wrangles. It is okay to create these bridges, because this is what we would prefer. If you haven't been talking to your mother, like that musician who came out in the news, if you haven't been talking to your mother for the last 20 years, it is high time, and every counselor will tell you that let's create a bridge, let's find people, let's go and reconcile you guys. That is 100% okay, so that we can end this Cold War between you that has lagged on for the past 20 years. Let's build a bridge. Let's build a bridge, and after we've bridged that bridge, there must be someone to take the courage to walk to that end, and the best could be as someone takes the first step, crossing that bridge, the other also must take another first step so that they meet on that bridge. So bridges are very, very, very important in ending these Cold Wars, and we actually encourage these bridges. We encourage them, bridges of reconciliation. These bridges are very, very important. But fences are equally important. Because remember my first point, we are dealing with human beings. Now, fences are equally important. It is okay to fence yourself against family. It
Fence
is
yourself against family.
Against family. It is okay to fence yourself against family, and it is okay to deal with your family outside your gate. It is okay. It is okay, gentlemen and ladies, it is okay to deal with your family outside your gate. It is okay. It is okay. When you have to choose between your wife and your mother, okay, it is okay to meet your mother in a restaurant. Yes, it is okay. Because with all honesty, you know your mother is wrong. Now, this is the problem. Some of us, our mothers will never be wrong. This is the problem. And because they are never wrong, they come and victimize your innocent wife. And all you're telling your wife, learn to deal with your mother. Learn to deal with your mother. A parent does not make a mistake. Is that really right? Then before you know it, there's a Cold War. I would rather I meet my mother in a restaurant than bring her at home and my wife poisons her. Fences are equally important. And they won't be in a Cold War, because when people don't meet regularly, there won't be beef. One is in a fence. You faced these people. And then when you face, you even face against the proxies that the fighters fight through. So if your mother is channeling through her daughters to attack your wife, fence your sisters outside. These things are brutal but necessary. This is how we live in this world. So if you think that we should only build bridges, then you don't understand how to live in this world. You don't understand that you're dealing with human beings. You will die a martyr. In fact, what you are doing, you are committing suicide if you don't have fences against professed enemies. So gentlemen and ladies, the best way, one of the ways, not the best, one of the ways to love our enemies is the gate and the fence. That is how we love our enemies. Why? The beauty of the fence is that it keeps you inside and you cannot attack them from outside, and it keeps them outside and they cannot attack you easily. And you have resolved these wars. Okay? Let me give you an example, and I'll use the experience of Chairman. Chairman is my brother. He has a neighbor who was actually encroaching on his land. Jethro, is that right? And
Yep.
And there was too much noise always, fighting this, throwing these things. What did you do, Jethro?
I built a very nice wall.
and share the experience after the wall and before the wall.
Since then we are very good neighbors. They say fences make very good neighbors.
That is what I'm talking about. So we must understand that some of these cold wars actually can be solved with that. Okay? Unfortunately, my brother Peterson left here. The story of the Berlin Wall. Okay? Before and after. So fences make good family members. And by those fences, we mean they are things you can no longer tell Sandra. You can't tell because she doesn't want to hear them. She doesn't want to accept, and she'll never agree with you on that point. So please fence your truth against Sandra. Fences. Then bridges, depending on the circumstance. But stop committing suicide. Okay? Stop committing suicides without by building bridges all over in every circumstance and every situation. Thank you very much. If anyone has something to say, this is your your time.
I personally, I'm good. Sandra wants to say something.
Okay.
Yes. Now, certain things come up and everyone around you agrees that actually the elder is in the wrong. But that same person is the one advising you, okay, the elder is in the wrong, but can you please go and apologize because they are your elder. You need that relationship with them, but you feel like you are very offended and you can't even go and apologize.
Sacrifice your spirit of entitlement, your ego, and then soothe the ego of the wrong elders by apologizing, if that will bring back the relationship. You go and do that.
No.
Now, if your answer is no, brutal honesty, thank you very much, my daughter. Build the fence. Leave, L-E-A-V-E. But don't stay there, don't stay around them in opposition. You have two alternatives. Don't stay there to prove them wrong. It is not worth it. You are creating unnecessary enemies with the elders, with the wrong elders who will never accept their wrong. So, one way is to live, L-I-E-V-E, live with them, and this is how you live with them. You apologize when you are right and soothe their ego. You sacrifice your ego and apologize even when you are right. Drop that entitlement and apologize to maintain the relationship. Deal with them. Something that Pastor Zachary was saying, now that your father is almost a swine, don't meddle and wrestle with the swine in the mud, because it will beat you with experience. What do? Apologize to the swine, even when you know it is wrong. No, I can't do that. Leave, L-E-A-V-E. Leave to avoid conflict. Those are the only alternatives that we can come up with so far, unless otherwise. Yeah, man, I think that is it. We have consumed a lot of time on this issue because it is a very personal thing, but you have the last word, sir. Thank you.
No. Just thanking everyone for joining. Sorry, I've gone past time, but I think it was necessary. Thank you for joining. We are back on Monday. So Luvunya, Mr. Sandra always comes. We are back on Monday with a Q&A session from the Bible, life, marriage, sex, you name it. So just come back and we have a good conversation. Thank you very much. And God bless.
Bye.
Bye-bye.